and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us in this webinar, which is the first of the new 14 webinars that we will be running under the STEAME Academy project. Let me share my screen. This is the first slide. So as I said, this is the first of the 14 webinars. There will be 2 webinars every month. So this is the first one. The next one is next week on the 26th. And this will cover the 14 modules of this project that are developed on the basis of the competence framework that the project has developed. But I will say more on the way. So let me go to the listing of the content. What we will discuss today. Of course, we have total 1 hour. We promise to finish with the questions. I have more slides that I plan to really discuss, and the reason is because I'm going to publish this PowerPoint and have it available to all of you. So you have more details that will be discussed and easily readable, because I have already more than 80 slides. I cannot do 80 slides in half an hour, but I will try to do most of them in 35 or 40 minutes. So what I will discuss with you today is the rationale for the change of learning approaches that probably all education systems need in Europe and beyond. A little bit linking the past, the present, and the future of learning. The STEAME project-based learning, education, planning, and resources, because this project and these developments that we do are concentrating on project-based learning. The STEAME learning and competence development programs, the learning spaces and evolution of learning. So we will use some imagination. The STEAME teacher certification, first piloting and results, the STEAME Academy Federation and regional academies. This is very new. I will discuss it with you a little bit. Ethical issues in STEAM education, and some coming STEAM-related events. So you can write your questions if you like in the chat, or we will give you a chance with this microphone at the end, okay? So linking to the past a little bit, Heraclitus of Ephesus said the famous say that the bandari in Greek, of course, but in English it means everything changes in nature. And what was interesting, the way he explained that, is that nobody can enter the same river twice because the water is changing, so you cannot really enter the same river. So this is important to keep in mind, that everything changes. Timotheus of Miletus, if I go by the year, by the years later on, in other words, the best teacher is not the one who imparts knowledge, but the one who inspires curiosity. So keep that in mind, because in the STEAM and the project-based learning activity, curiosity is important. And of course, most recently, Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited to what we know now, or we know now and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world. So imagination is useful if we want to be creative and if we want to develop some innovation. So let me continue keeping these things in mind, because these ideas will come into play as we go along. Here I show always 2 pictures which have 100 years difference, more or less. It's the school class 100 years ago and the school class more or less of what we have today. Of course, there is a difference in color. We have some TVs and screens, whiteboards, etc. But the main similarity is that more or less the classroom structure remains the same for the last 100 years. So this is a point made, and keep that in mind, that we cannot do, or we cannot help learning processes if we continue to keep the classrooms like this. And I will explain, or you will see it later. What about, let me remove some of this. What about university programs? University programs, we offer mathematics, profession, physics, chemistry, biology, etc., etc. But we're still producing single science professionals. Is this a problem? Maybe. We have to keep in mind that there is no innovation based on only one science. Most innovations are based in more than one science. So we cannot develop innovation if we don't involve at least two sciences. And what is happening in this world? We are producing single science professionals, and then they have to cooperate or they have to learn other sciences, etc., in order to really produce innovation. So even a mathematician who is doing applied mathematics, he has to understand engineering, etc., for example. So regardless, we have to consider that something has to change also in the higher education. Most importantly, because the teachers of the schools are coming from the university programs. So keep that in mind also. Surveys of employers for the last 20 years are indicating their evaluation preference of employees when they evaluate new applicants for jobs. The knowledge comes number 3. Knowledge are the degrees we have. So the degrees themselves are not enough to give us jobs probably anymore, right? What else? What is in the rank number 2? Competence and skills. So employers are looking for competences and skills. So competence and skill means I have to be able to use the knowledge. I have to be able to apply the knowledge in order to be able to be more employable. And what is rank 1? Communication. Communication always ranks 1 because no matter how much knowledge we have, how much competence we have in applying knowledge, and how many key skills we have, if we cannot communicate our knowledge or communicate our competence in doing things, we cannot cooperate, we cannot sell anything, we cannot co-create anything, etc. So communication is very important to communicate and cooperate with the aim to apply knowledge, apply competence in developing innovation. Research and experimentation at the same time is suggesting the following for improving competences and skills: problem-based learning, inquiry and research-based learning, project-based learning, learning by design, relate knowledge to real life, cooperation, peer learning, blended learning, internships, flipped classroom communication, and of course, all of the above are given to people who have experiential learning. Experiential learning, and in parallel to this, we have the digital learning coming into play to support all these competence developments, etc. So we need all this. Some questions. Let's see what people think. What do you want to see in future schools, that you do not see today? We asked some university professors, see the center for what is coming in their mind, more projects, they say, more problem solving, etc. We asked school teachers, what is coming to your mind on this question? Creativity, flexibility, motivation. We asked another group of teachers, communication, skills, interaction. They want to see more of this. But we also asked students of age 9 to 14. Of course, it's expected. They talk about games, robotics, esports, etc. So people are talking to us and we have to listen to them. Let's see this picture. What does this picture tell you? Well, in the 50s, if we wanted air conditioning in the learning space or classroom, the only solution was to go open sky. While in today's classrooms, in some countries, in some regions, we see air conditioning, etc., more modernization. Keep that in mind, but still the structure remains the same, right? Regardless of the developments. Portability, if you, those who are of my age, you remember the only portability we had in the 60s was some blackboard take it to the library to have a learning process in the library. While today's portability, we all know the tablets, etc., and we have seen schools where they don't take books anymore, and they only use tablets in taking notes and in reading books, etc. Let's proceed. The STEAME Academy Youth Funded Project. The project has started in June 23, and it aims at many different developments related to the content I told you in the beginning. But I will show you a short video, a pitch video, that more or less tells you many things. Let me see if it can play. All right, it's a few seconds.
In a world where traditional education methods often fall short, the STEAME Teacher Facilitators Academy offers hope. Embracing project-based learning to revolutionize education for grades 6 to 12, bridging theory and practice. STEAME Teachers empowers students with essential competences and skills for success in the modern world. Innovations like the STEAME Teacher Facilitators Competence Framework and International Sharing Observatory pave the way for a new era of teacher education and professional development.
Central to our mission is the certification program housed within the observatory. Teachers complete modules, validating their expertise in fostering cooperative and creative learning. Our goal is to cultivate a European federation of STEAME Teacher Facilitators Academies with highly qualified educators shaping education's future. Through localized workshops and our flagship European conference, stakeholders from diverse backgrounds converge to exchange ideas, share best practices, and collectively shape the future of education.
Join us in revolutionizing education and empowering the next generation of creators and innovators.
Okay, let me move away from here, sorry. Okay. So the video gave you a message of what we are trying to do, and really, in short, the innovations we're trying to do is to provide an observatory with resources in many different languages to teachers. The aim is to train teachers, to be ready for the change. The change we mean to bring project-based learning, STEM project-based learning into the school curricula, into this morning classes, if I may say. We're not replacing the whole program with project-based learning, but we have to allow the time and provide the infrastructure in order to apply this method, because this method from references and research have shown that can develop competence and skills that people need. People need to survive in the future world. It hasn't been, even though it's 100 years old, the project-based learning approach, it hasn't been developed because of infrastructures, because of technology. Today's technology, of course, allows for this method to be applied. Competence framework, we developed the competence framework, and I will show you the results of the 12 competences that today's teachers need in order to really be able to apply STEAM education. Of course, this competence may change after 1 or 2 years. At the moment, this is the result. We have developed for you 14 learning, 14 modules for understanding the processes. And these modules will be offered through short webinars over the next 7 months, but they will be available in this platform that we're developing to be able to learn about it anytime, any place. The European Federation is established and is registered. It's now a legal entity. It is part of the deliverable of this project, and actually will be the federation that will be sustaining the future of these aims and objectives. And what are the aims and objectives? To see regional STEAME academies developed all over Europe and beyond, and supported by the federation and by this platform that we're developing at the moment. Policy recommendations are useful because we would like to see authorities of many countries supporting these developments. The European Commission knows about this development because they are funding us to develop this. So we hope that in the next education policy and new education policy of the European Commission, I'm almost sure that the STEM project-based learning will be part of the priorities. And of course, in order, as far as we know today, there aren't really many undergraduate first cycle degree programs or developing or supporting the development of STEM teachers. One way to do this is by training either existing teachers or training teachers who are coming out of the universities in the near future. So meaning initial training. So we're developing a training program that will end with hands-on into a certification offered by the federation. And of course, there are many ways this can be done. I will talk about it in a little while. And the observatory we already said. So all this has to be done with a collaborative approach. For example, the certification. You cannot be certified alone as one professional scientist or teacher. In order to apply project-based learning to a group of students, to a set of groups in a classroom, let's say, you need to collaborate with other teachers because a project has to involve more than at least two sciences. Usually it's impossible to do it with only one science. So this means two teachers of different specialties. So this is what we encourage, and this is what we piloted already, and this is what we like to see. So our logic says that in order to be certified, since you have to work in pairs at least, you have to cooperate. And one way to do it is having one experienced teacher as a mentor and one student teacher from a university collaborating in order so together they can develop, create, co-create, implement with students, and together they can be certified into STEM as certified teachers. So this is the way we design it, and this is the way we piloted it already this year, and I will talk to you about it. So I'll try to move a little bit faster because I'm watching, I see my watch. The competence framework has shown these 12 competences that the teachers need to master in order to be able to do this STEAM project-based learning activities with students. They have to be able to design and implement context-bound STEAM projects, consider formal education standards in STEAM projects, monitoring STEAM projects and reporting, embed learning in truly interdisciplinary STEAM projects, guide students learning in STEAM projects, support STEAM projects with the right learning environment resources, involve students in STEAM projects, promote student self-regulation, engage and coach to support learning, reflect on performance as a STEAM project facilitator, apply creativity and innovation, keep learning about STEAM projects, and share knowledge. If you want to see a full report application on this competence framework, is available in the website of the project. Exactly under the outputs, there is a tab here says outputs. And if you go down to Web Package 2 STEAM Teacher Facilitators Competence Framework, the D2.4 is a complete report, and you can download it for free. Okay, it's available. All right. So this for competence, and based on this, we have developed the modules I mentioned earlier. But of course, the European Federation of STEAM Teacher Facilitators Academies is coming into the play to really put under its auspices all this development and be able to sustain it. So this federation will promote and support the establishment of regional STEAME Teacher Academy as a multiplier activity. So regional academies can train teachers in the local language. So not everything has to be done in English. Support through a European platform observatory with resources and sharing resources in many different languages. Provide the STEAME teacher certification in the form of a micro-credential. So teachers would be trained in their own language and interact and have hands-on activity with students in their own language, and then they can report their activity and learning and results and everything in some requirements that we will be publishing soon to receive the micro-credential teacher certification from the Federation. Support mentor-mentee system, right? We want schools and universities to cooperate because the students at the university will be the mentees and the experienced teachers, mentors. When you become certified, then you will become a real mentor because you will be a STEAME certified teacher. Organize exchange events. We will have an annual conference. We started already organizing symposia. The next one would be in March of next year, and there will always be in March, around the 14th of March, the day of mathematics. Policy recommendations, of course, for the authorities. Updates of competence framework. As I said, the competence framework, as technology changes, the competence framework changes, right? And our philosophers said everything changes, so why not? A set of guidelines is establishing national and regional STEAME Teacher Facilitators Academy. So we will have guidelines for this. The platform, which is not published yet, it looks like this, or it will look like this. If you want, you'll be the first ones to see this. So this will look like this, and from here you will be going into the webinars, and here it would be the platform's observatory. It's free and it's open for everyone. You just have to give some entry information, and you have full access. And of course, from here you will go to the European Federation, the European level, everything in English, and then the regional or national STEAME academies operating in their own language can be accessed from here. News will be found here. The annual conference will be found here. Different events we would be recommending, and of course you can subscribe, etc., etc. Okay, let's move. The evolution. Most of us, we are in education 2.0 right now. We do some technology in the classroom. We do some cooperative learning. By the time we apply new technologies, they become obsolete, etc. The students sometimes know the technology better than the teachers. So we have a problem. Education 3.0, which in some countries we see activities like this, is a more real student-centered approach. So if we want a student-centered approach, we should not be talking about teaching, but we should be talking about learning. We should not be talking about teaching hours, but we should be talking about learning hours, etc. So the language of education has to change somewhat. The teacher is transforming into a coordinator, facilitator, advisor, learner, etc. The student is researching more. VR comes into the play through different environments. Flipped classroom should be more applied. So we bring students into the real world, more dialogue, more technology, and available everywhere, anytime, any place. The classical style classroom has to change, and it's changing. And of course, we should stop talking about lesson plans, but we should be talking about learning plans if it's a student-centered. And of course, the 4.0 that maybe doesn't exist anywhere fully at the moment is co-creation and innovation in the center. Whenever and wherever, hybrid learning environments, interactive practical exercises, face-to-face or distance. Learning is done outside the classroom many times. Learning plans are now called learning and creativity plans. So this project and other related projects have been creating learning and creativity plans for you to use as teachers in the classroom. The technology is free and easily accessible, and there is a continuous evolution and innovation, and therefore a need of development of competencies and skills. So people, when I say people, everyone, but especially teachers, become self-adaptable to change. So at some point, there will be not enough time to train people. So people have to have the competence to be adaptable to change easily, because the change will be very fast. So the education 4.0 is, we're already in the half an hour, 25 minutes. For more components, 4 more core components are integrated: competence development in project-based learning, especially internships, blended learning, micro-credentials as the competence and skill certification, digital learning via bring your own device, micro-learning videos, short videos, so people can receive knowledge, they can retrieve knowledge easily through videos. And we know that kids love videos nowadays. So VR, AR, MR, extended reality, artificial intelligence are going to be in the play everywhere in the learning space, and infrastructures, learning spaces have to be adapted. So lesson plans we had in Education 2.0, learning plans, and now learning and creativity plans. Other language, we have a lot of pedagogy and andragogy. Andragogy is adult education. We have seen the last 20 years a lot of cyberpedagogy, internet. But of course, the most important in 4.0 is pedagogy, learning from each other, cooperation, etc. And heptagogy. Heptagogy is what is self-learning, micro-learning, etc. Okay. We have a learning space for you. It's imagination in the play. Of course, as Einstein said, imagination is more important. So we were able to imagine a learning space of the future. And it looks like this. Of course, it's self-sustained with energy. It uses hexagon like the Beeswax, and for maximizing interconnection and maximizing spaces. But let's see some pictures inside. Inside we have the basement, virtual reality rooms. This is the what we call learning stations for heptagogy, what I said earlier. Learning station in the sense that while students are working on projects and they need to retrieve some knowledge or receive some knowledge they need to apply into the project, they can go into those booths, watch a video, receive the knowledge, and go back to continue on their project. Or they can go together into a learning room, together with their teachers, watching video, discussing, retrieving knowledge in order to go back and apply into projects. Some other pictures. We even imagine a train moving at a low speed in these buildings, the hexagon where they can feel a full circle inside, and students can be in this moving isolated place of inside the wagon and work and cooperate. So we have imagined with today's technologies what should be in the basement. I'm not going to go through this list, but you will have access to this page. But whatever you can think of, more or less, it's listed there. We have suggested what should be in the ground floor. We will have lecture rooms, but not to teach people. Mostly for students to talk to students and for industry to come and talk to students. So the learning will have to be done more interactive between teachers and students while they work on projects. The first floor specifications is more recreation, more open space, etc., etc. And of course, the roof that can have a football stadium, etc. We even imagine this athletic center to be open here in the morning for the students, then it closes in the afternoon, and it opens to the community. The community pays a fee to go into the athletic center, and of course, this fee sustains the expenses of what they use, or what the students are using in the morning. Why not? Why should the students see the same color every day? We suggest changing color of the school every day, if possible, but it is possible with technology. It all depends how much money you have available to spend, and who is deciding about the color of the school tomorrow? Not the principal, not the teachers, the students. Through some app, they can vote and decide on the color of the school, and the color of the school is switched in the morning, and students see the color they chose. What else? Are teachers ready to facilitate this learning? In most cases, no. They need training. So we have designed everything around the training of teachers, professional development, modules, the observatory, the certification program, and we had the first pilot program for 32 teachers. 32 teachers are certified from a program that was applied from February to July, and because we couldn't do the hands-on with projects in the morning program of the system, of the education system, because the education system in most countries is based on a law, and you cannot really change. We're talking about public education. We implemented with the patronage of the Minister of Education of Cyprus the hands-on of teachers working in groups to apply with students of minimum 6 hours during a summer camp in July 24. So you can see some of the pictures of the training and the implementation with the students. And this was done in a 4-star hotel in the mountains. And on 2nd of October of this 24, in a few days from today, these teachers would receive the certification from the hands of the Minister of Education. We hope that this is a model that will be developed further by the project, and we can see a model implemented through these regional academies we're talking about. These are the 14 modules we designed for you, and they are almost ready to be published, at least the learning plans, but this will be running 2 every month in the form of webinars. So what I'm presenting today for you is the module 1, STEAM learning space. So the other 14 will appear in the next 7 months, including September. Management of the STEAM learning space environment, STEAM tech resources and methods, VR learning environment for STEAM project-based learning, interactive STEAM process, STEAM project-based learning as such, STEAM learning and creativity plans, we already mentioned, the replacement, the new language of the lesson plan, learning with entrepreneurial mindset, learn how to learn, which is very important, competence, external collaboration and networking, STEAM evaluation methods with emphasis in project-based learning. Probably we will not have the traditional testing for project-based learning, facilitation of feedback about the process in schools, sustaining and improving the STEAM process, and don't forget the environment, STEAM, green and energy issues in education. So let me go. This is the certification that is designed for the teachers, and I think I will try to finish in 3-4 minutes. Here I have the results of how the students felt during this piloting. What I just want to see are these 2 colors, the 35%, the very positive and the positive, that the reaction is 80% and above in most questions. How do you evaluate the communication? How satisfied are you with the support? More than 80%. The teachers' reflections pre-implementation, just before they went into the implementation of the learning and creativity plan. Whether do you agree with the following statement? I feel empowered as an educator. The majority, as you can see, replies agree or strongly agree. The STEAM program helped me learn new practices. I learned to collaborate. The training program was relevant to my needs. I feel confident in applying the content of the STEM methods to my students. The certificate was well designed. I would recommend the program to my colleagues, etc. During the STEM program, I was given access to useful material during, etc. So all reflections are positive. And after the implementation, again, we have I feel empowered. agree and strongly agree. The STEAME program helped me learn new practices. I learned to collaborate, and most of the answers are agree. And so this is the result of the very first piloting, and we will have more pilotings, and I'm almost sure they will look like it. And the ethics issues are very important. Do not forget the ethics issues. Just to give the titles, equity and access, you can read what we mean by that. Privacy and data security, safeguard, ethical issue of technology, inclusivity and diversity in the classroom, environmental sustainability, very important. We also give you links where you can read more about these issues, curriculum content and fair assessment, STEAME project-based learning, fair and effective assessment of group projects, social and emotional learning, teacher-student relationships, future EU schools and universities, European education area, digital education, innovation bulletin, all play the role. Coming events, the European STEAME Academy Symposium next March in Thessaloniki, if you are interested. There will be many workshops related to STEAME Academy. And the big conference, final conference of this project will be in Cyprus in March 2026. Free workshops program, we have next one coming, the second actually in January in Bucharest. There will be some co-funding on this for mobility. So you can apply, and we will see. We hope that you can be accepted. I don't know how many will apply, but we will see. But we have another one coming in Athens later on in 25. Free online webinars is what you participate now. And of course, our partners, 14 partners plus 19 associate partners, and many exploitation associate partners are getting involved. You can also involve your school or university as an exploitation associate partner. You can join our mailing list, and you'll be receiving a lot of information in the next 2 years on everything that is developed, and having access to everything. So sorry for the taking a little bit longer than expected, but as I said, it's 82 slides, and I think I managed to finish in 40 minutes. And now to give a chance, let me stop the sharing for questions.
Hello, good afternoon, Gregory. This is Katia from Algarve.
Hello,
I hope
Katia.
you are okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And regarding our work at university, I have a question.
Yes.
This project is very rich because it has several activities, and it has a process that is being developed. We have a student from a Master of Training and Education that would like to collaborate with us regarding studying, researching some models or some aspect or some stage of our project. Considering your experience and what you presented and all that is being developed in the project, what do you consider most interesting to have some feedback or some other type of study and research regarding the activities that are being developed?
Well, for me, there are two things that would be interesting to investigate further. Assuming that the students understand what is a project-based learning activity, which means if you want to talk to the students, you have to explain them. And these students should be either at the school level or at the university level. Mm-hmm. Then, if they understand what is a project-based learning activity, it would be nice to investigate if they would prefer this, because the feedback we have from the piloting is that the students, they said, we want more STEM projects instead of teaching them single subjects. So they like the application, the interaction, the cooperation, the co-creation, etc., putting knowledge into solving a challenge problem. So this needs further investigation in order to bring more feedback to the teachers, because the whole educational systems we have today at the school and at the university level are still traditional. I go in front of my students, transfer knowledge to them, etc. Why? Because I have to test them on the traditional way, giving them a written test. So I have to make sure I transfer the knowledge, help them to understand it, and then we forget about the competences and skills, because people can answer to questions, knowledge-based questions, easily. But let me give you a scenario, an example. You take today a test, we give your students today a test, and they write, most of them 90% and above. Take the same group of students 6 months later, do not give them any warning, and give them the same test. I think many of them will fail. And why will fail? Because in the 6 months period, they probably forget what they knew 6 months ago. What this tells us? That knowledge can be forgotten. But if we apply the knowledge to develop skills, the skills are not lost. And if we find a way to help the students retrieve this knowledge, and how do you do this? You can have all your teaching recorded, have it available in short videos. And if the students come to you and say, teacher, we forgot what you told us 6 months ago, because it's required to acquire new knowledge based on that today, you don't have time to teach them again. So what do? The solution is to direct them to the learning stations I showed to you earlier to retrieve the knowledge. So it's good to investigate the behavior of the students. The students are changing, and there is the students who are going to create the change. It's not us. We are older people than the students. The students are growing in a different way. No matter how much flexible we try to be and adapt to the needs of the young kids have to tell us more. The second thing are the teachers. The teachers they have anxiety because they see their students developing faster in technology that is around them, and they are afraid sometimes to use technology or talk about technology, because they are afraid sometimes that the students know more than them. So we have to talk to the teachers and help them to tell us what they need in order to bring them faster into the change. Whatever change you bring to any education system, it has to be done through teachers. Nobody can change the education system. So without the teachers, we cannot do. Even if we transfer all knowledge into videos, who is going to do the videos? The teachers are going to do the videos. Whatever learning process is developed, the hands of teacher have to be involved. So these are the two groups that we need to investigate further in order to be able to help them better. Because what we do, we try to develop tools and methods and resources for teachers to make them better teachers, and to make it easy for them to do what? Not to teach, really, to facilitate the learning. The teachers are the facilitators of learning, because the word facilitation of learning includes more than teaching.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I agree, and perhaps it could be very interesting to focus on what is the perspective of students, perhaps students who have experience in problem-based learning, see what is their representation, and their perceptions regarding this methodology, and also students who just know about it and never try. Perhaps this also can help us to develop some strategies teachers can implement easier can implement in a easy way this type of this methodology, problem-based learning in their classes, in their systems. Thank you very much for the suggestion.
There is a question in the chat: to what extent are the official education systems ready to adopt these ideas? In particular, how do we persuade parents to adapt? Yeah, parents. We had a proposal recently, it was not approved, but we'll try again, the STEAME parents, in the sense that the parents play a big role in this. The parents have to understand also what is STEAME project-based learning. Why? Because the project-based learning is not done only in the school environment. It has to be done outside the school also. And where is outside the school? That's the house, the home, even the workplace of the parents. So the kitchen can become a small laboratory, the garage can become a small laboratory. So when they go out to the fields with the parents, if the parents understand what it means project, what it means a problem, what it means a challenge, etc., they can play and learn with their kids. So it's important to talk to parents as well. Yes, I agree fully with the comment that parents are very important, and we're working on that also. The educational systems, no, are not ready, because it's not why they are not ready? Because the teachers are not ready. So I know some countries, I won't mention names, that they developed, let's say, laboratories, technology in school, etc., before training the teachers. So the opportunity is there, but the teachers don't know what to do. There are countries outside Europe that they develop schools that look like the imaginary school I showed to you, but the teachers don't know what to do in it, right? So you need to train teachers. That's where you have to start. And as I said in the beginning, the universities are producing single science professionals, mathematician, physicist, chemist. They're not producing STEM teachers. The STEM teachers has to be able to understand more than one subject, more than one topic. So if we don't have, since we don't have that, we have to train teachers how to cooperate with other discipline teachers in order to co-create project scenario or even word problem solving. The most difficult task for a teacher, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm a mathematician. If I was to write a word problem, and a word problem means what? It's a real life story that inside this real life story, there is a logical mathematical model that the student has to extract and develop by reading a word problem. Writing different stories that have mathematical logic in it in order to solve them, for me, is the most difficult task. I can write equations easily for students to solve while listening to music, watching TV, etc., without much of thinking. But if I was to write a word problem of, let's say, 5-6 lines with mathematical logic in it, I have to concentrate. And it's not easy. So that's why we don't see this many. That's why we see problems with the BISA results. The BISA, for example, that has many word problems in it. Students are lazy to read them, or students read it once or twice. They have to read it 5 times to understand. It's already too late. They don't have time. So there are many things that have to change. And whatever it is, we have to train teachers if we need to bring change into school systems. The ministries may decide to make a change, but if they don't train teachers, the change will never come. The students cannot do it themselves. So we need to train teachers. I hope I answered this. Any other questions? We still have a few minutes. Andreas Kodinos.
I just put that question forward because really, in my view, it's quite important that we persuade the educational systems to adopt these ideas. And we have to produce something that will help them in this direction, because I always remember that all the educational changes that I remember during the last 50 years always have a restriction, because they don't really there is always a reaction from their parts of the educational system, because they are used to the traditional educational approaches. That's really the question. And how do we persuade them? That's a big question.
Well, the challenge is dual, Andreas, because in some countries we need to change the law in order to change the curricular system and the learning system. And the law, where does the law change? It doesn't change at the ministry. The law is changing in the parliament. So the parliament people have to understand the change if they're going to vote for the new legislation for education. So since in most countries, in order to deviate from the traditional learning methods and bring in new methods, like project-based learning as an important part of the learning process, they have to change the legislation. And so it's not only the minister or the politician from the executive government that has to understand and decide. It's also you have to explain and understand and help the parliament members to understand the new approaches. And what is the problem between these are the university professors, say, because the universities have to change. And the universities professors many times don't like to change the traditional way they teach. Some of them are using notes from the last 30, 40 years. And they like to go into the classroom and stand in front of the group and start talking. So we need a change there. We need to see more blended learning. And when we say blended, we mean internships, we mean projects, etc. in that level as well. So we cannot stand and say the problem are the school teachers because they don't know. No, where are the school teachers coming from? From the universities. So the universities have to change first, probably before the school. Or you take the mathematician or the physicists, and then you train them and make them STEM teachers. I think changes will start. I mean, we already see STEM education as a priority in most countries. In many times, the word STEM is misunderstood. Many people see the STEM as individual letters, individual disciplines, individual topics. We don't see it in this way. We see it as interdisciplinary interplay, a multi-science approach. And this is how we help people become innovators and creators. And this is what the industry is looking for. Yes.
Gregory, could I add something more?
Yes.
In my view, organizations like OECD are really trying to promote ideas like STEM. And that's what they are doing through, for example, the examinations, the PISA exams, and so on. So, do we believe that we can persuade them to add in their testing ideas from the STEM area? That's a big question.
Suppose, yeah, I mean, suppose PISA is a kind of competence-based examination because of the work problems they have, but the ideas of the project-based learning require people to cooperate. So if a testing process is individual testing, then the project-based learning, I don't think it can be involved much, because as we know, we need students to work together in projects so they can co-create, they can learn from each other, peer learning, etc., etc. So the philosophy of examination papers with examination questions, etc., is not linked to this process, and this is what is expected to change, because we all say that exams don't give you the full picture of the competence and skills of the people. So people cannot be examined by one test. And this is what industry is showing for the last 20 years. As I said in the beginning, knowledge comes number 3 in the evaluation of employees. So knowledge are the examinations we took throughout degrees, really. And it's not enough. It's not enough to convince someone that we have competences and skills. So, so I don't know if PISA really helps. If PISA became, for me, my point of view, another competition between countries. And now what some countries are doing, they are changing their program in order for the students to do better in PISA. So what's the purpose? To do better in PISA and show off to other countries that we did better than you? It doesn't serve any purpose. So it became like another international Olympiad, more or less. And allow me to say that maybe this PISA and Teams is maybe doing damage at the end, because it doesn't allow the systems to deviate from the examination traditional system. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is the impression I begin to get lately. So we need to stop, because we allow 1 hour for these events. I hope it was helpful to everyone. I hope to see you in the next 13 webinars, and keep in mind that there will be more than these webinars from the project coming into the place. So in some months we may have 3 webinars, but these webinars will be there for you and your colleagues if they couldn't show up today, to listen to them and to watch them. Okay, and keep visiting our website, subscribe to the newsletter so you receive all the developments and information and opportunities for you to get involved in some physical workshops that we're organizing in Europe. And thank you very much, really, for being patient and listening to us. Thank you.